This show is brought to you by Millennium Tree Stands, Extreme Archery Products, and Ramcat Broadheads.
Welcome to Reality Hunt Club. In this webisode, we're going to be talking about our bow hunting, and also we're going to show you who showed up on the trail camera photos. Stay tuned. Okay guys, we've been up the past few weekends. We hadn't had much luck. It's been hot. The bugs have been out, the gnats, the mosquitoes have been real bad. We've had, we're just coming off the full moon. There's a ton of acres on the ground this year. And, the weather hasn't been great with the heat and all, but also the wind direction. Some of the best daytime photos we got of bucks and does just had the wrong wind and we just couldn't hunt it. I don't know what, I'm not complaining because this is pretty much every bow season, especially in middle Georgia when you're hunting September. Now, also another factor is we need to work on food plots and tower stands. Do I go hunt this afternoon or do I work on a tower stand and do I plant my oats for the fall? So it's a toss-up, early season bow. Now it's getting cooler. Muzzleload season is coming up this weekend, but we're going to continue bow hunting. So we're going to go up. It's getting a lot cooler and the wind's favorable. So hopefully we'll bring you guys some videos of us smacking some does and maybe a couple of these bucks. Now, I want to show you these. I want to show you, of course, I did have this encounter with a doe and new camera. So I'm sitting in the stand and she comes out, as you can see, and it's too dark for the GoPros and all that, but I'm sitting there, I'm seeing it through the LCD of this camera, but I'm not quite sure if it's good video light. And as you can see, the video light's marginal, but it's still better than average. So I decided not to shoot her and let her walk. Plus, I want to make sure I get a good ethical kill and make sure I can send her my peep. But that's the only real good chance. That's a big doe, 120, 125 pound doe. And one time she was at 15 yards. And I was like, oh, no problem. We'll get another chance. And we hunted hard a few more days and never did get another chance. So let's talk about some bucks that's showing up on camera. Before I talk about bucks, let me show you how feisty they're getting on camera. So let's look at this. So these photos are really showing that these bucks that were buddy-buddy a few weeks ago are starting to not get along. I got a lot of photos of bucks just posturing, the ears laid back, whether they're fighting over the corn pile, or some of them are even, I heard one guy down the road talking about a buck trailing a doe already. Some of those older bucks, they're looking for those first doe. Chuck on the club killed a nice 9-point opening day, which is like October 21st, and that buck was chasing a doe as if it was November 7th, November 8th. So as you can see in these photos, these guys are they're starting to not get along. And this is like one of the last photos of all of these bucks together, and then the next time you'd see that big 6-point by himself, or you see that companion 9-point that we're calling him by himself, but you don't see them grouped up no more. Now get a load. Obviously these deer have been in the groceries. They look good, fat, and prime. But look at the necks. Look at the necks there. They are starting to swell up. I mean, look at that 6-point there. His neck's already full blown. So as you can see, they're just starting to spar a little bit. But you can tell they're starting to put that dominance on who's going to rule that roast. So, interesting stuff. So let me move on. Let me get that down. Alright, let me see. I'm going to talk to you about the new buck showing up. Okay, I'm going to go over this one first. This is called the Tab 10 buck. Now they cut those peanuts. This is on the far end of our club. And they cut those peanuts so they've started, the deer, since they started cut all the agriculture and collected them, the deer are starting to move around. Plus the bucks are just moving in general because they've rubbed out in the testosterone. Now, this is a nice 3.5-year-old. Nice. He showed up. Haven't had pictures of him. And he's staying at this spot. Of course, they're all nocturnal so far, but he's a nice deer. Nice 3.5. And as you can see in the photo, nice body, nice neck's already starting to swell up. He's going to be a nice one. So, real proud of him. Let me show you this one. This one we call the Pond Dam 10. Or the Pond Dam buck, excuse me. But he is a 10 too. Alright, now how old y'all think this deer is? He's actually 6.5. I'll show you in a minute why I'm saying 6.5. There he is in the background. Now, he's 6.5. We have trail camera photo evidence that he's 6.5. Now, when he was, I'll show you these in a minute. Let me keep going through. You know, he's a nice buck. There's that other 3.5-year-old. He's a really nice buck. He's pushing those bucks off that corn pile, you know, and he's keeping that 6.5. He's keeping that 3.5 away from it. So, real interesting photos. Just amazing how you can see the dominance they coming about. Now, here's the picture. I posted this on Facebook. Now, we have pictures of him in 2009, 10, 11, and of course this year 12. Now, here's his 2009 photo. Okay? Now, he's clearly, you know, he's clearly a 3.5. Look at the body on him, his neck, and the antlers. And we're like, oh, he's a 3.5. Most of our deer worry about putting on more weight than antlers when they're 3.5. So we're like, oh, we'll give him a pass. He'll be better. Okay? Well, that was 2009. Okay? Now, 2010, he started looking really good as a 4.5. Of course, we never saw this deer in the daylight. Oh, he's looking really good. You know, he's got some real good potential as a 4.5. Now, last year was the drought, and this is him. This is the most he grew in 2011. This is a November picture. He's run down a little bit because they've been chasing does a little bit. It's right at the beginning of the rut. Now, got good brow tines, but his main beams never. So this year, he's a lot better. I mean, he's probably 125, 130 inch deer, maybe 135, but he still didn't quite put it together. So here's the pictures of all, you know, all the years. You know, 2010, I think, probably was his best year of growth as a 4.5 instead of a 6.5. I don't think he's going down. I mean, he has 6.5. I think he's just doesn't have the genetics. You know, some people are meant to be tall, some people are meant to be short, and I think he's just short of his genetics. So anyway, we call him the Pond Dam 10. Obviously, 6.5-year-old deer. I don't think, for a matter of fact, nobody's ever killed a buck on the club 6.5 years old. So that right there, him being mature and being trophy, plus the fact 2009, 10, 11, you know, we never seen this deer. We never got a shot. But I think he's going to be more dominant, and we're going to get an opportunity to shoot him this year. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting. Let me see what else we're going to talk about. All right. Now I want to show you this, and we'll wrap this up. Now, look at these two bucks here. Obviously, they have different genetics, right? Well, this is what we call our sway genetics. You saw my dad kill that deer last year. And this is the no-brow junior genetics, where they have, you know, this one's wide and good brow tines, and the other one is high and tight, hardly any brow tines. If any, they normally grow them on the left side. Now, so this is like their offspring. Now, what's funny to me and Chuck is, what's funny to us is, these guys are running together like they're grandpappies. Okay, this is sway. Obviously, these are 2.5-year-old deer right here. Now, this is their granddaddies. Sway right here, and no brow, junior, third, whatever you want to say, in the background. So what we find funny is, I couldn't find a 2.5-year-old picture of them, but these deer are running together just like their relatives were running together. You know, I just think that's funny. I pulled some 2007 photos up the other day, and if you blotted out the 2007, excuse me, you'd think they were 2012. It's just amazing to me. You get the same deer, the same antlers genetically every year after year after year. and it's just cool. And this is a good picture. Next year when these deer are 3.5s, I hope to have a picture. If they're still hanging out, which odds are they are, I hope to have another picture just like this and ask you guys, are these the same? You know, are these the same deer? And you're gonna say yes, they are the same deer. I'm gonna say no, they're not. That picture was taken in 2010, and this picture was taken in 2013. They're different sets of deer, same days. So anyway, thought I'd bring this to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned, and we'll be bringing more webisodes to you. So thanks for watching Reality Hunt Club. Hopefully we'll have some luck this weekend, and join us. You know, like us on Facebook. Leave us some comments. Tell me what you guys think. Anything you want to see, and stay tuned. We'll bring you more webisodes as the season rolls on and starting to roll up, and the weather's getting good. And hopefully we can knock some deer down. So stay tuned.
If you like this show, check out our other shows at hunt365.tv.